Okay, hello friends, this is Yusuf here. Welcome to another interesting JavaScript video after a very long time. So basically we are continuing our JavaScript series. So here, yes, I want to basically go through one coding exercise so that we can see how it can be solved using array methods. Okay, so I will explain the coding problem. You can pause the video and try to solve by yourself, but later you can come back and then see, because I'm going to try to solve in 3 different ways. Okay, the problem is very simple. So say you have an input array which is having a 2-dimensional subarray, okay, and each sub items is actually an array of 2 elements like a key value pair. So what I want actually to convert that into an object with the key value pair, where the first key will be the first element and the value will be the second element of the subarray. So this is the problem. So if you want, you can pause the video and try by yourself, but let me go and solve by myself. Okay, so initially we are going to solve through a traditional approach, like any beginners will try to solve through a for loop, right? So for let I equal to 0, I is less than array dot length and then I plus plus. So basically we are iterating the parent array and then here individual item we will get it in array of I, right? So this array of I is nothing but this individual item. So I know that it will be having 2 fields, so I can access the name and value using 0 and 1 index. Okay, so what I want, basically I want to have an output which will be an object, empty object, and here I will say that output of that key is equal to value. So meaning, so here maybe for readability, let's take const key equals to, in the first element array of 0, and I will take the 0th index, and then const value equals to array of I of 1, right? So now we have a key value pair. So I will say I'll put the output object where the key is equals to value. Okay, so if I use the console.log of output, then save and run, so you'll get the result. Okay, but this is a very old way of doing it, but still it works, that's fine. But I'll tell you a few things. Okay, first of all, so here we have an array of I, and we are very much knows that this is going to be an array of 2 elements only, which means we can use a destructuring instead of this, meaning that I can have a const where key comma value equals to array of I, right? So which means I can remove these 2 lines of code. So here automatically this value will be substituted into the 2 values of key and value. So which means if I save and run it, it will still work. Okay, so now I am going to try the same using another better method, that is using for each. Okay, so instead of going through a for loop where we have an additional I variable, right? So I want to use here array dot for each. So for each takes a function. Okay, so in function each element will come as item. Okay, so same thing. So if this item is nothing but this array of I is going to be the item variable. Okay, and traditionally here I can do the same thing. So if I copy these two lines and put it here, instead of array of 1, if I take item, it will do the same thing. So item will be a subarray of the key value pair. So if I copy, save and then run, it will work. But I want to do even better. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to destructure this in the function argument itself. Okay, which means here itself instead of item I can say that key and value, which means I don't want this line of code now. Save and it will still work. But now this is arrow function and we only have 1 line of code, so we can make it even better. So which means I can remove all these things. Okay, let's close this, save, and it will work. Okay, so this is like a 1-liner solution. Okay, fine. Now we are going to solve in the third method using reduce. Okay, so array dot reduce. So if you have seen my previous video, so reduce is nothing but it will try to reduce the array into a single value. So here if you can see, this is our whole array and we are trying to reduce it into a single value which is an object, right? So which means using reduce also we should be able to do it. Okay, so syntax is reduce takes one callback function, which I will call like this, and then it takes an initial value. Okay, initial value I'm going to keep it as empty object. Okay, fine. So within that what is going to happen, so reduce will give us 2 values, one is accumulator, another one is current value. So accumulator will be initialized with the initial value and then current value will be the each element of the array. so which is nothing but current element is actually the subarray. So which means I can do the same thing. I can restructure here, it will become key value, okay. And then here if I do it in a more read only way, I mean easy to read way, so this accumulator I want to have this key to this value, okay, and then I will return this accumulator. So each time the accumulator will come and then the new value will be added, okay. So which means if this will return is one return variable, this object, let me print it there, and if I run it, it works. But what I'm going to do now, so I'm going to make this 2 line into 1 line. So how means, so I'll explain it here actually, okay. So basically we have one object, it's empty object, okay. What we are doing in this line is nothing but we are putting a key physically like this with the value, okay. So like this, okay. And then if you see the object, we have one key value pair. Now if I add another key like this, then it will be added into the same object. So if you see, we have it. But there is another way of doing it using spread operator, meaning that say I'm telling object equal to, okay, I'm giving 3 dot and then object, which means whatever they're currently in object, you use the same and then add the new key with some new value. When you do that, you can see that that value is getting added. So if you want to use this syntax here, so all I want to do is instead of return ACC, I'll say you want to return the object, please keep whatever is there already, and then I need to give the new values, right? So if you use like this, it will not work. It will work, but meaning this key will be the key name, but I want to have the value of the key, which is like name or age to be available, right? So which means you can use it with the square bracket, okay. So now if you save and try it again, it still works, okay. So these are the different methods I wanted to share to solve this problem. Hopefully you would have also solved in a different way or the same way. So yeah, so that's the end of this video. I'll see you in the next video with a different challenge. Thank you.